Do I look pretty?
No.
No. Hey everyone, Ryan here, M&R Productions, and welcome to another custom LEGO Star Wars set review. Today we're taking a look at another one from Republic Bricks, and this video is sponsored by Republic Bricks because he did send me this set for free to review on the channel. And it, of course, the reason you probably clicked on this video is a Geonosis Arena, a pretty cool concept of a set that it has been very desired by a lot of LEGO Star Wars fans, including myself. I would love to see LEGO make one, but this is currently an option on the market that you can go out and buy, and today we're going to find out if it's worth the $400 price tag. It does have 2,054 pieces, and this one is the first time that I've ever gotten a set from Republic Bricks that includes minifigs, so you'll get a Count Dooku, a Jango Fett, and a Padme Amidala minifigure. We'll take a look at those minifigures in depth up close here in a moment. Also, let's be honest, this set is a way better deal than the Jedi Temple I just looked at for $1,600. So $400, and you can also get 10% off with code ARENA. So if you use code ARENA, you get 10% off, which brings your price down to $360. So for a custom set, $360, 2,054 pieces, not looking too bad there. Anyway, let's get this opened up. We have a bunch of color sorted parts, which is a nice thing that they do. They sort everything by color. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to put together because, you know, custom sets can otherwise be an absolute pain. So that's definitely nice. And then somewhere in here should be a QR code for our instructions. So I got the instructions pulled up, just like normal LEGO instructions. Anyone that's watched one of these custom videos has seen. The only thing I would say with this is that with these custom sets, there is always a point during the build process, at least once when I'm building these, where it's like, oh, I have to think about the build, and, you know, just a forewarning if you do go out and buy anything custom. It looks like LEGO instructions, but it's not vetted like LEGO instructions. And LEGO instructions still have errors, but this is not like a really well thought out build process. It's a get the job done build processes, which is all it needs to be. But yeah, all the parts look pretty good here. We got them all laid out throughout the table, and very excited to have this built. So I'll see you when it's done, and we'll take a look at those figs right now. Build it. Hurry up.
Okay.
How are you building without the instructions?
Oh.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. Forgot I needed those.
Yeah, you forgot you needed those, so you're just going to build off your mind?
Yeah.
Here's the three minifigs included with Jango Fett, Padme, and Count Dooku, all of course done in the Episode 2 version of themselves from the Geonosis scene. The Jango Fett may look a bit off to you as it does use a custom helmet from Clone Customs. And all three characters here are UV printed. They are not pad printed. Pad printing is the type of printing that LEGO uses for all their minifigs, and some custom makers use it. Just depends on where you're getting your figures from. UV printing is very common, and it can look bad, but in this case, I think it looks pretty good. Some people don't mind it at all. Some people mind it a lot. That's going to come down to personal preference, but I would put the value of each of these custom minifigs around $20 each. But with the custom helmet, which I think is a bit oversized, you can remove it and you'll see the Jango Fett face, which looks really good here. I think that's a really good print. And then he's even got a very nice custom jetpack, nice and shiny, got a nice blue to it. So you can see the 360-degree print on this guy. The arm is a bit tight. I feel like I have a hard time moving it sometimes. But as you can see, the print looks like it's a more than decent quality for a UV print of a character. Like I said, I've seen much worse UV prints, and I could certainly pull in examples of those. But we also have Count Dooku, who I wish had a lightsaber. I wish Jango had blasters. Definitely a little something to be desired here. But Count Dooku looking very nice as well. Gave him the dual molded legs, and he does have the hard, stiff cape, but he also has that printing on the back. Yeah, I think it is a 360-degree print. You can see the print on the side of the torso there, so that's pretty cool to see. And then finally, we have Padme, who looks pretty good. I think my biggest qualm with her is that she doesn't have, like, the scrape marks on her back from her beast. Would have been nice to have that detail, but that's just not here. But overall, very accurate-looking character, and definitely a bit more detailed than you're probably used to with LEGO, so that's either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on who you are. And, again, UV printed, so not the exact same type of printing that LEGO uses. But three characters in the set. That's definitely an upgrade from any other Republic Bricks set I've had. And this is the entire playset spread out onto the table, and it's a pretty crazy look. I've always wondered what it would look like if LEGO were to produce one of these. They did originally have some prototypes of a couple of the Geonosian beasts here from 2002, but they never released a finalized product of this, and certainly no images of anything of the rest of the arena or what the rest of the arena might have looked like had LEGO released it. So it's kind of unfortunate that we don't have anything to go off as far as that goes. But as far as a playset custom, this thing actually looks about like what I would expect, I suppose. I mean, you would have to have about a half build. It's not like they would do a full round arena and do the whole thing with that. But, you know, you get the 3 pillars, and then you have the viewing box with some area for figures and a nice entrance for the chariot, which might be the biggest missing thing from this set, is the chariot from Star Wars Episode 2 that Anakin and Padme ride in on. I talked to Timmy and he said that's a potential future release, but it's not included in this set, which is definitely going to be disappointing for some. Now, I feel like everyone probably wants me to take a look at the beasts. So we have the Acklay, a Reek, and a Nexu here, and we'll start with the Nexu. He's a very, very flat-looking character, and it's hard to get it right because in the movie, it's a pretty flat head on this character. So, I mean, it makes sense. It just looks weird when translated into Lego, and unfortunately, it is the one character that there's not a prototype image of, or beast, not character, but that there's not a prototype version that we can see that Lego had put together to see how they might have done it way back when. But you can see the teeth with the open mouth looks pretty good, and then he's got 4 posable legs, or she. It might be a feminine animal here, but regardless, you got the tail on the back. You can see the bottom. Very nice for a brick-built animal, and it's going to work perfectly for something that's supposed to attack Padme. I think that actually looks really cool there. Now, I think the other 2 beasts do look a bit better, just because the top of his head looks really weird. And now I can only think of the top of his head meme. But the Reek is, to me, essentially a rhino here, and you can see he's got his 1 horn on the front, which looks pretty sharp there. Nice dark red head, and then you've got a brown stripe down the middle of his body. The rest of it's pretty much gray. Have him bull rush your characters, so that's pretty nice. And then the Acklay, which is probably the best looking of the 3 here. I mean, certainly you're welcome to your opinion, but I think this is the best looking one. I also think the colors on this guy just really work well together with tan, dark green, and then sand green from the Lego colors. For his eyes, they use some clear studs, which look pretty good. And it looks like it's even posable to the point where you can stand it up kind of like it does in the movie and have it about to, you know, chop down on one of your characters as well. So very nice with the 3 beasts from the arena here. Definitely not the most finished off looks, but for what they are, I think they're really good. Here we can see one of the posts that they get chained onto, and I've got Padme on top of this one right now. You can see there's plenty of space for a character to climb up there and stand up there like Padme does in the movie. And we have the chain, which goes all the way down to the ground level, which is really nice that the chain is long enough. Just happens that Lego has one available, so that works. You can chain them up with their hands above the head and all there, and you actually end up with a pretty good look. The base of this allows enough room for a couple other minifigs to fit on. I don't know why you would add more minifigs on, but it's there. And then the build is really simple. I mean, it's really just some big half-cylinder pieces stacked on top of each other with these pieces hanging off to add a bit of depth and detail there. But yeah, these whole things maybe are made out of 20 pieces, which really gets the job done as far as just having the look of them there. The rest of the arena build is pretty interesting too. So on the left and right of this grand entrance, along with the viewing box for the big old famous people up there, Jango and Mr. Dooku, we have some sections that are kind of the same on every side, and they're also fronted by a ladder, which I think is supposed to both work as a ladder, kind of, for like entering up to the top of the section, and more so like as a gate to allow droids or something into the arena. Because on the back of either of these sections are these droid assembly lines, which are from like the Geonosis droid factory. Obviously, probably not to scale with where they are in the real movie, but as a playset, it definitely takes some liberties in a lot of those departments. And so you have on either side these assembly lines that would be assembling droids and then sending your droids off into battle. So you can open up the ladder or gate. I guess I want to open it to the back so you can actually get through it and send your droids in through the gate here. It actually works pretty nicely as a play function, and it's kind of like something you would think that Lego would include, so it's actually interesting that way. And these aren't included in the set, nor are they Geonosian battle droids, but just to give you an idea. So you end up with the droids on the assembly line, and as they come off the assembly line, you can send them in through the gate there. Like I said, it's a pretty Lego-like feature, and it's kind of neat from that perspective. On the back of both of these sections are some clips, and they aren't really used for anything here, at least not from the instructions, but I'm sure you could put some weapons there for your droids or something if you really wanted to. And we'll close this ladder gate back down. You can see these whole sections up here could be filled with Geonosians if you had enough to fill them up, which would be be nice. It would definitely fill out the set and make it feel a lot more like the scene. But with Geonosis being pretty scarce in the current world of Lego Star Wars, unless you've already got like 40 of them yourself, or 20 maybe might do it, it's going to be a tough look to get it to look filled out. You could certainly fill it out with other characters, but yeah, it's going to be tough to fill it out with Geonosis when they're not currently available in the Lego Star Wars lineup. Now, the front of these sections actually look pretty good. It kind of reminds me of Mustafar a bit here, but just a nice bit of texture to it, really. And if you haven't noticed, these sections can kind of flop around, and that means you can kind of make this into the circular arena. I mean, it's going to be far from perfect. Maybe you could build your own additive sections to really finish it off, but it can kind of close up a little bit. Kind of looks like an Ninjago set to me right now. I don't know why, but you can kind of close it up a little bit and make it feel a little more proper than the way I had it set up at the beginning. But let's talk about this big middle section, because I think it's the most interesting part of the set, and there's a lot in the back. So atop this very large middle section is the viewing box that a lot of the big guys stand in. It's a little bit small to fit all the characters I think you'd want to fit there, but you could potentially have Mace Windu walking in the doorway, and of course other characters flanked Count Dooku there. But it's nicely detailed with some off-axis pieces placed onto the wall, and they look really nice at that. Like, they're off by like 45 degrees. Looks really sharp like that, in my opinion. You've got these barriers set up so nobody just falls off the front of that and onto the big spiky things below them. Very nice. I want to call it terrain, but I'm not sure how the Geonosis arena is like constructed, like if it's built into the terrain or if it's just built like terrain. Like, this definitely just looks kind of natural to me. Obviously that's kind of the style of it, but yeah, it looks really cool here. You've got this big awning over the entryway, which doesn't have a gate or anything, but this is, like I said, the entryway where Anakin and Padme are brought in on their chariot, and it's a pretty nice design. Maybe the only qualm I have with it is that these can sometimes end up off axis, and that definitely looks a bit weird. You can even see some definitely out of place color pieces under there if they get pushed the wrong way. So just a small thing, but worth noting. And then you can flip it around. You can see they've kind of emulated the big rock pieces Lego makes. I paid Corey to build this, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, those are the big rock pieces. And I'm like, oh, wait, no. They look like the rock pieces Lego makes, but they're built out of bricks. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then in the back here, there's kind of a lot going on. So you'll notice the entryway for Dooku up there, but you may notice some sections that you couldn't see otherwise. Now there's the Death Star plans down here. Unfortunately, it's not the printed piece that we've had before. It's just a trans clear red headpiece from Lego, but it does look pretty cool. And then we have some more of those yellow cheese slopes, which are the same as the ones that we see on the main sections of the arena seating. And then I believe this here is supposed to represent where Count Dooku has Obi-Wan Kenobi captured. So I guess we'll just put Count Dooku in there for now because he's who I have handy. I want to say that's what it is, but it also might just be a hologram spot. I'm not 100% sure. And then there's a couple sections just showing some interior caverns, which are weird to me, but hey, nice detail is nice detail. And then the final section here is like a weapons rack, I would assume, for weaponry for your battle droids, and it doesn't pull out as easy as you would like. So if I pull out on this, it just is going to pop off because for whatever reason the pieces are just a bit tight there. Maybe that's just my particular version. The particular pieces I have are tighter than they should be, but it does have a lot of friction there, so you can't just use the handle here to pull it out, which is unfortunate, but it's not a big deal because you can just pull it out pretty easily otherwise. So a lot of play features in this set. Honestly, this has been a tough one for me to review. It's a little bit different than reviewing something that is a ship. And the Geonosis arena is something that people have wanted for decades at this point out of Lego Star Wars. Like I mentioned earlier, it was originally going to be a set back in the early 2000s, but they just didn't think it would sell well, so they canned the idea and have never come back to it, or really anything even close to it, not even a smaller playset. It's kind of a shame. But this custom one does a really good job of filling that gap that Lego has left. It's $400 for just over 2,000 pieces, and with Code Arena, it brings you you down to $360, and you get the 3 custom minifigs. I mean, this is pretty close to the value you would get out of a Lego set. And I do say pretty close because I feel like a Lego set, obviously, you're going to get, you know, like 10 more minifigs with a few Geonosians, a Newt Gunray, Anakin Skywalker, the Chariot would probably be in here, maybe a couple other little small builds, clone troopers, whatever. Definitely a little bit more in a real Lego set, but this is a custom Lego set, and custom Lego sets aren't the same as real Lego sets, unfortunately, at the end of the day, as far as the value you get goes. That value is made up for usually by being something that Lego isn't selling you. That's kind of the difference maker there for a lot of people. I do wish that he did sell the Acklay on its own, because I feel like that's something people would be interested in. So the Acklay, the Reek, and I forget the other guy's name, but yeah, those 3 species of beasts are pretty cool to have in this particular set. The minifigs are nice, even though they're not like the very top of the line pad printed. I think the UV print looks pretty nice. Of course, you can judge for yourself. I tried to give you as good images as I could with those, but it's a very sprawling build. It's not one you're going to find on my display anytime soon. I mean, you could certainly try to find a spot to display it in your collection. I'm not sure how people would display something like this if they'd add in their own figures and stuff. I think that's probably the best way to do it. I wouldn't keep this the way it is with just barren stands. Like, come on, they're selling out for this one. Everyone wants to see Padme get eaten. So I'm curious what everyone's going to think about this one, but generally for me, my purpose in custom sets and what I really liked about them is having something that's displayable, and this isn't quite that. This is a different market than what I'm probably in it for, but definitely something I still wanted because it's a Geonosis arena, and Lego doesn't make that and hasn't made it, and who knows if they ever will make it. But I'm curious what y'all think. Let me know down in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like on the video, and like I mentioned way earlier, this video is sponsored by Republic Bricks, so if you're interested in buying this, use the link in the description below along with code ARENA to save an extra $40. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.